Hey everyone, so it's review time again, selection box time. I love a selection box. This is from Evolution Fireworks, it's the Neptune selection box. Evolution do 6 different selection boxes at the moment. They're all named after planets. So from smallest to largest, there's Pluto, Venus, Mercury, Neptune, which is this one, Saturn and Jupiter. So this is like a mid-range box with 20 fireworks in it. I do love the design of these boxes from Evolution. I love Evolution's design in general. Let's have a look what we've got in this box. So it's category F2, it's garden fireworks. And the total NEC on net explosive content is 551.1 grams. So I've not fired this box before, I don't know what's in it. Let's open it up and have a little look. Let's get rid of the lid. Okay, so we've got some rockets in here. Apollo rockets. Each one has 10.7 grams of NEC. And I'm just looking at the codes on them to see if they are all identical. There's no description of the effects on this. But they all have the same code, so I'm imagining those 3 rockets are identical. So 3 rockets. Oh, and there's a rocket launching tube as well. Oh, where do we begin on this? Let's have a look. Let's start with this. North Star Roman candle, 8 shots, 3.2 grams of NEC. So actually there's not a lot of NEC in that. I'm not expecting great things from that one, but let's see. So a Roman candle there. In fact, we got 2, and that's also North Star. So 2 identical Roman candles there by the looks of it. We've then got 1, 2, 3 shot tubes, red dwarf they're called. 9 grams of NEC in each of these, and 3 identical ones of those. Right, and next up, let's start with the smallest and work up. Spectrum, wow, that's lightweight. 9 grams, so a little fountain called Spectrum. 9 grams of NEC. Ice Giant, another 9 gram fountain. Slightly bigger, but with the same amount of powder in, so we'll see. Milky Way, feels like a fountain. It's a battery of fountains. Was that a battery of fountains? No, that was just a fountain. Milky Way is a battery of fountains, which means there's more than one fountain in there. And an NEC of 40 grams. So there may be 3 or 4 fountains in there at 40 grams in total. Another fountain, Mercury. 18 grams of powder. Another fountain with 18 grams in called Astrid. Solar Flare, another, oh, this is a battery of fountains, 24 grams in that one, battery of fountains. Flare Star, 24 grams, battery of fountains. This asteroid, so not to be confused with asteroid, it's a little probably 96 shot. Let's see if it says 96 shot, red and green pearl to crackle on that, and 72 grams of NEC. So quite a decent amount of powder in that for its size. We move on to the bigger ones. Wow, this has got a bit more weight to it. Battery of fountains. This one's called Lava, and this one has 55 grams of powder in. And Storm, which I'm guessing, yeah, also has 55 grams of powder. And it's a battery of fountains. So both of those battery of fountains. Some weight in there, so 55 grams for a fountain, not bad, not bad. And then finally 2 cakes. Oh, and a little puck lighter as well to light the fireworks. And let's move this box out of the way. So we've got Outbreak and Detonation. Both 81.6 grams of powder. Both last for 20 seconds according to this, and both have 12 shots. Now, I fired some Evolution cakes before, so they're not bad. I've not fired these particular ones, but we'll see. The effect description on Outbreak. Spider with green glitter to lemon stars with gold chrysanthemum to red wave with white glitter to red, green, blue and yellow peony. So quite a lot packed into that. 12 shot cake. Detonation. It says red and blue stars with white glitter to red and green wave to red glitter and chrysanthemum. So I think they're probably going to be all right. So there's quite a lot in there. 20 fireworks. Some of them are the same. The shot tubes are all the same. So 3 identical fireworks there. Although one does have a different colour top. That's probably just possibly a different batch number. Let's just have a look. No, they're all the same batch number. We just check the codes on them and see if they're the same. Yeah, they are. So I'm expecting those 3 to be identical, even though that one's got a slightly different coloured top. So 3 of those the same. The 2 Roman candles are the same as well. And the 3 rockets are the same. But that said, the fountains, hopefully, are all going to be different. Those 2 are the same amount of powder, same size. They might be quite similar. Then again, they might be quite different. Those 2 were also the same in terms of the amount of powder in them. A Spectre of an Ice Giant. Milky Way was a battery of fountains, as was Mercury. And Astrid and Mercury both have the same amount of powder in. They might be quite similar, but again, I don't know what to expect. They might be completely different. We'll see. So that's the Neptune box from Evolution Fireworks. 20 garden fireworks. Let's get firing them. So what did I think of the Neptune selection box from Evolution Fireworks? Well, the very first item I fired was the smallest fountain, Spectrum. It was a nice fountain, but it only lasted 5 seconds. Such a short duration sent alarm bells ringing for me that this wasn't going to be a particularly great selection box. But my fears were soon allayed. The short duration of the first fountain aside, the other fountains were really good. Each one was unique in its effects, and there were some nice bright colours, and no two fountains were the same. Now, I should point out that I did have a couple of misfires on 2 out of the 9 fountains in this box. Astrid just exploded, and the second part of the solar flare fountain battery also exploded. Now, to spectators of solar flare, this would have just looked intentional, as just a fountain with a mine effect end. Traditionally, such an effect is known as a jack-in-a-box mine. However, this is clearly not how solar flare was intended to perform, and it certainly wasn't the intended effect from Astrid either. It is quite unusual to have 2 separate firework malfunctions in the same box of fireworks. So what causes fountains to explode like this? Well, fountains have a small hole in their top, known as a choke, through which the fountain effect is emitted. This controls the burn rate of the powder inside and gives the fountain effect its height. If this choke becomes blocked, then when the firework is lit, rather than hot gases and pyrotechnic material being released through the choke in a controlled way, instead these have nowhere to go, and so the pressure builds up within the fountain and it just explodes, igniting all the remaining contents instantly. This is what happened to Astrid and the second half of solar flare. So what might have caused 2 separate yet identical failures in the same selection box? It could be a manufacturing issue with this particular batch, or it could be an issue with the way the selection boxes were transported from the manufacturer to the distributor or retailer. Either way, these 2 failures didn't actually spoil my enjoyment of the rest of the box, and had these same failures happened in your garden display, if you'd followed the instructions on the firework, spectators would have been perfectly safe as they would have been far enough away for there to be any concerns over safety. Now, that all aside, let's take a look at the rest of the box. The North Star 8-shot candle, and there were 2 in the box. I was really sceptical on how these would perform, given that they only contain 3.2 grams of powder. So across 8 shots, that just works out at 0.4 grams of explosive content per shot. But actually these were good. Alternating shots of red and green comets, which achieved a good height, and also they had a little bit of a glittering tail to them too. So I'd say that at just 3.2 grams of powder, these candles actually punched above their weight. Next up, the 3 Red Dwarf shot tubes. I was expecting all 3 to be the same, given they all had the same name and codes on them, despite one having a slightly different coloured film on its top. However, no, there were 2 different effects here. One of the shot tubes produced a crackle mine, followed by a crackle break with green stars. The other 2 shot tubes produced a bright silver tail comet, breaking to red and white strobes. All of the shot tubes achieved a good height and a good size break. Then we move on to cakes. Asteroid, the little 96 shot cake, firing red and green pearls. I was a little disappointed with this one. Now, Asteroid is actually available for purchase on its own, and I've fired a few of these before, and they typically last around 25 to 30 seconds. However, this particular Asteroid lasted just 10 seconds, and its pace was quite inconsistent, with lots of shots being fired initially, which then slowed down to more of the pace I was expecting. I don't know, maybe this is how the selection box version of Asteroid is intended to perform. However, given 2 fountains misfired in this box, this cake could have potentially had a manufacturing issue or been damaged during transport, causing its erratic pace. The label for Asteroid also indicated red and green pearls to crackle. There was no crackle, which I didn't mind, but the labelling of this was inaccurate. Now the 2 12-shot cakes, Detonation and Outbreak. These are great little cakes, nice big bursts, good mix of effects, and 2 distinctly different cakes. Finally, the 3 Apollo rockets. As expected, all 3 produced exactly the same effect, and these were the weakest items in the selection box. They did achieve a reasonable height for their size, and it was nice to see a bit of a strobe effect in their breaks too. But the breaks themselves were very small, and went with more of a weak pop than any sort of bang. Overall though, I think this is a decent selection box. Yes, I had a few misfires, which could simply just be down to how this particular box had been poorly handled or transported. And so I'm sure if I had another Neptune box, I wouldn't have a recurrence of these misfires again. In this box, there's a really good variety of fountain effects. The candles outperform their size, the shot tubes were good, as were the two 12-shot barrages. The rockets were the weakest item in this box, and so do let it down a bit. If you're considering this box for a small back garden display, you might want to supplement it with a decent pack of garden rockets as well. So let's look at the price. The recommended retail price, or RRP, of the Neptune selection box from Evolution Fireworks is £90. But you can typically pick this up from retailers for between around £40 to £65. It's a little bit pricey at RRP, but at £40 to £65 though, I think you'd be quite pleased with this box. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to my channel for more in-depth firework reviews.